Now I'm going to discuss how to prepare financial statement of the not-for-profit making organization. As a financial statement, we have to prepare income statement as well as statement of profit and loss and statement of financial position. If it has given restaurants, its profit and loss should be calculated separately. So that we have to prepare separate income statement for restaurants as well as accumulated fund should be calculated. First one, see the example. It has given receipts and payment account. It is equal cash accounts. Cash accounts for the year end 31st March 20. Debit side available all the cash receipts and credit side available all the cash payments. Cash account opening balance. Opening cash balance should be included. Opening assets and liability relevant for accumulated fund calculation. And admission fees, joining fees. Then subscription collection during the accounting period for the year 31st March 20 for last year, this year, next year. Think about all three value received during the accounting period, but think about this one alone for last year, this year, and next financial year. Donation, this is a normal donation, and it is given donation for Pavilion Construction Fund. Think about donation received for created fund, special donation. Then sales of restaurants, there is a restaurants also sales. You have to prepare separate income statement for restaurants sales. Then salary, paid amounts, telephone expense, electricity expense, and paid for creditors available. You have to prepare creditors control account also to calculate purchase of the restaurants. Think about there is a restaurants available, creditors paid amounts, and fixed deposit is given 20%. Date is not given deposited. Therefore, interest income should be calculated for entire year. Rent expense paid in cash as well as restaurants expense and given closing cash balance also. Cash account, receipts and payment accounts. Then given opening and closing balances. Opening balance 31st March 19 and 31st March 20 closing balance. All the opening balance relevant for accumulated fund calculation. Subscription receivable and given subscription received in advance like that. Pavilion construction fund, this is important. There is a separate fund available for pavilion construction. It balance available 6,000 and donation received amount also given. Donation and accrual electricity, sport equipment given cost value and accumulated depreciation, inventory restaurants, creditors restaurants also part of club. And equipment of restaurants is given cost and accumulated depreciation, opening balance and closing balance. All the opening balance should be recorded relevant for accumulated fund calculation. Then sport equipment and equipment of restaurants should be depreciated 20% based on cost. And monthly rent expense is given 20% of rent expense, 30% of electricity, and salaries rupees 5,000, 5 million is relevant for restaurants. Expense should be recognized separately. Restaurants income statement as well as income statement of the club. And if the subscription amount receivable for previous year is not received during the accounting period, should be written off. Subscription written off also available. Those are the information relevant for not-for-profit making organization. Donation available, admission fees available, subscription available, and sport equipment available, opening balance, closing balance, restaurants available, cash account available. There's income statement for the year 31st March 20. This is income statement of the club and profit and loss account of the restaurants. for the year 31st March 20. That is also income statement of the restaurants, profit and loss account, or income statement of the restaurants. Income statement of the restaurants. You have to prepare separate income statement for restaurants for the year 31st March 20. All the income and expense relevant for restaurants should be included restaurants income statement. All other income and expense should be included income statement. Then there's statement of financial position as at 31st March 20. At first one, draw the format. There's income statement of the club as well as income statement of the restaurants and statement of financial position. This is the format. This is the SCC Sport Club income statement for the year 31st March 20. Income minus expense. And this is the restaurant's profit and loss accounts. SCC Sport Club income statement of restaurants for the year 31st March 20. Think about sales available. If it has given sales return should be deduct. Then cost of sales, opening stock plus purchase minus closing stock. Gross profit can be calculated. After that, if there is other income should be added minus expenses. Net profit can be calculated. Therefore, restaurants also part of club. If there is a profit, that value should be included under income of the club. If there is a profit of the restaurants, that value should be included under income of the income statement of the restaurants, income statement of the club. If there is a restaurant's loss, that value should be included under expense. Restaurants income statement also part of club. Restaurants also part of club. Therefore, if there is a restaurant's profit, that value should be included under income. If there is a restaurant's loss, that value should be included under expense. Then this is a statement of financial position. SCC Sport Club statement of financial position as at 31st March 20. Non-current assets, cost minus accumulated depreciation, then net book value. Current assets, an accumulated fund, opening balance plus surplus. And it has given pavilion construction fund also. It should be included under accumulated fund separately. It is not part of accumulated fund. Separately we have disclosed. Sometimes it has given life membership fee also should be included here. Then non-current liability and current liability. From the beginning, you have to prepare format like this. Formats. Income statement of the club, income statement of the restaurants, as well as statement of financial position. Right, then additional information should be done from the beginning. Additional information should be done from the beginning. It has given opening balance. All the opening balance should be included statement of affair. Cash account opening balance also given here. Assets minus liability. Think about subscription receivable assets. Subscription received in advance is a liability. Pavilion construction fund, part of equity, that value should be included under liability side, liability. Part of equity. Accrual electricity liability. Sport equipment, it has given cost and accumulated depreciation. After deducting accumulated depreciation, net book value should be disclosed. And inventory of the restaurant's asset. Restaurants also part of club. Creditors of the restaurants is a liability. And equipment of restaurants, it has given cost and accumulated depreciation. Net book value should be disclosed. All the opening assets and liability relevant for accumulated fund calculation. And opening cash balance also given. This value also relevant for accumulated fund calculation. You have to prepare working like this. Accumulated fund. Opening balance should be included. Think about subscription receivable, opening balance. Sport equipment, cost minus accumulated depreciation, net book value. Cash opening balance, it has available cash accounts. Inventory of the restaurants. Equipment of restaurants. Net book value should be included. Assets minus liability. Pavilion construction fund, part of equity, that value should be included liability side. and accrual electricity, creditors of the restaurants, subscription received in advance. Then take total assets minus total liability. This is the accumulated fund. That value should be included financial position. This value accumulated fund, this is opening balance 22,500. That value should be included as opening balance and accumulated fund. Second column 22,500. Then opening balance, okay. Think about all the opening balance should be recorded statement accumulated fund calculation. Opening cash balance also given. And closing balance is given. Subscription receivable closing balance available. Subscription received in advance as well as accrual electricity. Inventory of the restaurants. If it has given closing balance should be include financial position. Subscription receivable and current assets. Subscription received in advance and current liability. Accrual electricity and current liability. Inventory of the restaurants and current assets. And creditors of the restaurants also liability and current assets. If it has given closing balance should be include financial position. And cash account closing balance also given, that value also can be included under current assets. Therefore, think how to record in the financial position. This is financial position. Closing balance is given, and account fund opening balance calculated, and creditors subscription receivable, accrual electricity. If it is given closing balance should be include financial position. Right now, opening closing balance okay. Then start from the beginning. From the beginning, try to complete now. Think about subscription receivable available and subscription received in advance available. Opening closing balance is given. You have to prepare membership fee accounts. Subscription equal membership fee. Opening balance and closing balance is given. Those are should be recorded as a balance brought forward and closing balance as a balance carried down. And subscription received amount is given during the current period. Subscription received amount during the current period. As well as subscription written off available here should be done together. Opening closing balance is given and subscription received amount is given during the current period. Cash account debit, subscription account credit. And opening subscription receivable is asset. Balance brought forward debit side, and closing balance, think about balance. And if the subscription amount receivable for previous year is not received during the current period, should be written off. This is the previous year subscription received amounts. Think about subscription received amount for previous year equal 3,800, but received for that during the current period only 3,000. If the subscription receivable amount for previous year is not received during the current period, should be written off. Therefore, subscription receivable amount for previous year equal 3,800, but during the current period received subscription for last year only 3,000. Therefore, not received 800. That value should be written off. Subscription written off. That is expense, should be included under expense also. Therefore, think about subscription accounts. Subscription. This is membership fee accounts. Opening balances. Subscription receivable opening balance and closing balance carried down. As well as subscription received in advance, opening balance and closing balance. This is subscription received amount during the current period. Subscription received amount during the current period. It is equal here total amounts. Here total value equal 49,000. Cash account debit, subscription account credit. And this is subscription written off. Subscription account credit, that value should be included under expense also. This is subscription receivable amount for previous year, but received for previous year equal 3,000. Therefore, not received 800. That is a value should be considered as a subscription written off. Then by closing subscription accounts can be recognized subscription income. This is a value should be included under income as a subscription. Opening closing balance is given. This is the opening balance, closing balance, opening balance, closing balance. Written off. Received in cash available, cash accounts. By closing subscription account, credit side increase, take the debit side, difference value. This is a value should be considered as income. Then sub membership fee, okay. Next one, Pavilion Construction Fund. From the beginning, complete. Pavilion Construction Fund account opening balance available. And during the accounting period also, donation received for Pavilion Construction Fund. Therefore, opening balance available. This is a special donation received during the accounting period for construction of pavilion. Therefore, opening balance plus received amounts 4,000. That value should be included under accumulated fund separately. Now think about financial position. If it is given is pavilion construction fund, opening balance plus received amount should be included under accumulated fund. Then accrual electricity available and cash account it has given electricity paid amount also. Accrual electricity. You have to prepare electricity expense account. As well as think about this one also. It has given electricity expense. 30% of electricity expense are relevant for restaurants. Accrual electricity available. Electricity paid amount is given. As well as out of electricity expense, 30% is relevant for restaurants. Balance part income statement. First one, you have to prepare electricity expense accounts. Prepare the electricity expense accounts. Electricity expense accounts. Opening closing balance should be recorded. This is opening balance. Accrual electricity liability, closing balance 2,500. Opening balance brought forward. Closing balance carried down from debit side to credit side. And paid in cash for electricity during the account period 14,000. That value cash account credit, electricity expense account debit as a cash. Then by closing electricity expense account can be recognized for the year value. This is value should be considered as an expense. But this expense should be recognized separately. 30% relevant for restaurants. Therefore, 15,000 should be recorded separately income statement of the club as well as income statement of the restaurants. 30% relevant for restaurants. Therefore, electricity expense is included in the income statement of the restaurants. 15,000 into 30%. Balance 70% should be included income statement of the club. Therefore, this value should be included restaurants profit and loss accounts. This one should be included under expense of the sport club. Then this one also okay. Complete from the beginning. Next one is sport equipment and it has given accumulated depreciation. As well as at the same time think about equipment of restaurants available and it has given accumulated depreciation. At the same time think about second one. Sport equipment and equipment of restaurants should be depreciated 20% based on cost value. Cost value available based on cost value 20% should be calculated and that value should be considered as an expense also. Sport equipment depreciation should be included income statement of the club. Equipment of restaurants depreciation should be included under expense of the restaurants. First one, calculate depreciation. Then accumulated depreciation also given opening balance. Annual depreciation also should be added. Then closing accumulated depreciation also should be calculated. Additional second one also relevant. Then calculate depreciation. Depreciation should be calculated. Sport equipment. Depreciation sport equipment 20% as well as equipment of restaurants 20%. This is a depreciation. This value should be included under expense also. Sport equipment depreciation should be included income statement of the club. And opening balance is given accumulated depreciation plus annual depreciation. Closing balance can be calculated. Closing balance should be include financial position as accumulated depreciation, and annual depreciation should be include income statement and expense. As well as equipment of restaurants also same way, depreciation should be include and expense of the restaurants now. And accumulated depreciation opening balance is given plus annual depreciation, closing balance should be include financial position. Then sport equipment and equipment of restaurants okay. Annual depreciation should be calculated, then calculate closing balance of accumulated depreciation, then those are should be included under non-current assets. Cost value and as accumulated depreciation closing balance should be deducted. As well as annual depreciation should be included income statement. This one income statement of the club and equipment of restaurants income statement of the restaurants. Then inventory of the restaurants available. This value should be included opening inventory, closing inventory, and the cost of sales calculation of the restaurants. Opening inventory and closing inventory and the cost of sales calculation of the restaurants. And creditors available of the restaurants, creditors, and cash paid for creditors also given. Creditors opening and closing balance is given. Cash paid for creditors available. You have to prepare creditors control accounts. By preparing creditors control account can be calculated credit purchase of the restaurants. That value should be included restaurants profit and loss accounts. Therefore, you have to prepare creditors control accounts. This is the creditors control accounts. Think about opening closing balance. Creditors control account opening balance equal 3,100, liability brought forward, and closing balance equal 2,300. That value balance carried down. And cash paid for creditors is given 15,000, cash account credit. Creditors account should be debit as a cash. By closing creditors accounts can be calculated purchase. This is the value should be included under cost of sales calculation as a purchase. Then additional first one okay. Second one also okay. Third one think about additional third one. Monthly rent expense 500,000 monthly value. Think about monthly rent expense is given, but we have to prepare financial statement annually. Therefore, from the beginning, you have to calculate annual rent expense. After that, 20% of rent expense is relevant for restaurants. And cash account it has given rent expense paid amount also. Monthly rent is given. First one you have to calculate annual rent. This value into 12. After that, 20% alone for restaurants. Balance 80% should be included income statement. Then this is paid in cash. Think about this workings. Rent expense. Monthly rent expense is given. Therefore, annual rent can be calculated 500,000 into 12, 6 million. Values in 1000, 6,000. Then it has given rent expense paid in cash 4,300. Expense for the year equal 6,000, but paid in cash equal 4,300. It means balance part not paid. This is a accrual rent expense under current liability. And this is the rent expense for the year. This value should be included income statement, but separately. Rent expense included in the income statement of the restaurants 20%. Therefore, annual value equals 6,000 into 20% should be included restaurants income statement, and balance part should be included income statement of the club as expense. As expense should be included 6,000. But paid in cash available cash accounts, rent expense, this is paid in cash, 4,300 paid, but annual expense equals 6,000. Therefore, balance part not paid accrual rent. That value should be included under current liability. Then additional third one, rent expense okay. Electricity we have considered already, and salary 5,000 relevant for restaurants. If it has not given accrual or prepaid expense, prepaid salary, accrual salary, if it has not given, no need to prepare ledger accounts. Cash account available paid in cash as a salary. Think about salary paid in cash 15,000. Out of 15,000, 5,000 relevant for restaurants. Therefore, out of 15,000, 5,000 should be included restaurants profit and loss account as a salary. And balance 10,000, 15,000 minus 5,000. Balance 10,000 should be included income statement of the club as a salary. And additional fourth one we have considered already. Right, then additional information, okay. Now start from the beginning, receipt and cash accounts. Opening balance already included under accumulated fund calculation. Admission fee, join-in fee. If it has not given clearly, admission fee should be included under income of the club, not restaurants. Therefore, this value should be included income statement under income of the club, not restaurants, as a join-in fee or admission fee. Subscription received amount already consider. Think about donation. This is the normal donation. Receipts, donation receipts, that is income. And the income of the income statement of the club, not restaurants. If it has not given clearly, all the income and expense should be included in the income statement of the club. And donation for pavilion, we have considered already. Opening balance also given. Opening balance plus received amount should be included under accumulated fund. It has already considered. And think about sales of the restaurants. That value should be included income statement of the restaurants. Sales. Then see the credit side. Salary we have considered. Telephone expense. Not given clearly restaurants. Therefore, if it is not given clearly, all the income and expense should be included income statement of the club, not restaurants. Therefore, telephone expense should be included under expense of the income statement of the club, not restaurants. Electricity we have considered. Creditors also we have considered. Fixed deposit important. This is asset should be included in between current assets and non-current assets 39,000 from the beginning. Second one, based on 39,000, 20% FD interest should be calculated. Therefore, 39,000 into 20% equals 7,800. That is a fixed deposit interest income. That value should be included under income of the club. As well as debit side not available FD interest income. It means FD interest income not received in cash. Therefore, under current asset also as FD interest income receivable should be included. Therefore, you have to calculate FD interest income. How to calculate? Fixed deposit is given up it. It has given fixed deposit value. Therefore, FD interest should be calculated. 20% fixed deposit. Interest income 39,000 into 20%. Therefore, value equals 7,800. This is value should be considered as income. 7,800. And it has not received in cash also. If it has received available debit side as FD interest. But in this example, debit side is not given FD interest income. It means FD interest income not received in cash. Receivable. Therefore, this value should be included under current asset also. As a FD interest income receivable under current asset, as well as under income as FD interest income of the club, not restaurants. Then rent expense consider restaurants other expense and expense of the restaurants and the expense of the income statement of the restaurants as a restaurants other expense. And closing cash balance should be included under current assets. Think about from the beginning, opening balance should be included state accumulated fund calculation. closing balance financial position. After that, from the beginning should be complete. Subscription completes. Pavilion construction fund. Think about donation received amount also. Subscription received amount is given here and written off available. After that, pavilion construction fund, donation available, accrual electricity paid amount available here, as well as 30% of electricity return for restaurants. Next one is sport equipment available and accumulated depreciation. At the same time, is equipment of restaurants. Think about depreciation rate, annual depreciation, and accumulated depreciation, and under non-current assets. After that, inventory of the restaurants and cost of sales calculation. After that, creditors of the restaurants. You have to prepare creditors control accounts and paid amount for creditors also available here. By preparing creditor control account, purchase can be calculated. Then monthly rent expense is given. Think about annual rent. Then it should be recognized separately. Rent paid amount also given here. Accrual rent can be calculated. Then salary 5,000 restaurants. Think about here paid amount is given. Balance part income statement. After that, from the beginning, admission fees think about donation, sales of the restaurants, and telephone expense. Fixed deposit think about assets, and FD interest income also should be calculated, as well as FD interest income not received, receivable also, and restaurants other expense also given. Now restaurants profit and loss should be calculated from the beginning. Now think about financial statement. Restaurants also part of club. Therefore, from the beginning, restaurants profit and loss should be calculated. Restaurants. This is restaurants. Sales minus sales return. Then think about cost of sales, opening stock plus purchase minus closing stock. Then sales minus cost of sales equal gross profit. Other income not available. Then expenses, electricity, equipment of restaurant depreciation, rent expense, restaurants expense, as well as salary expense should be deducted. This is the restaurant's profit. If there is a profit, that value should be included under income of the income statement of the club as a profit of the restaurants. Important. Then take total income. Membership fee, join-in fee, donation, fixed deposit recorded already. Take total income. Then membership fee written off, expense, electricity, sport equipment depreciation, rent expense, salary, telephone, all the expense take total value. Income minus expense. This is a profit. It is equal in this lesson surplus. Then that value should be included under accumulated fund. Therefore, this is a financial position. Under accumulated fund, think about this is a surplus. Opening balance already calculated by preparing statement of affair. This is accumulated fund calculation. Accumulated fund, it has already calculated opening balance. Then surplus available income statement of the club. Then think about assets, cost value minus accumulated depreciation, net book value. Then fixed deposit, think about. And closing balance, inventory, subscription receivable, fixed deposit, interest income receivable, closing cash balance. This is the closing assets, 72,000. Assets equal 72,000, total assets. And think about equity part, accumulated fund, opening balance plus surplus, as well as pavilion construction fund, closing balance, non-current liability not available, creditors, and subscription received in advance, accrual electricity, and accrual rent expense. This is a current liability. Therefore, total assets equal liability plus accumulated fund. It is equal equity but cannot be written as equity. Reason, owners not available in the not for profit making organization. Therefore, if it has correctly prepared financial position, both sides should be equal. Those are the in statement we have to prepare. Then this is the way you have to calculate accumulated fund. Only opening assets and liabilities should be included. Therefore, try to recognize how to record admission fees, normal donation, is donation received for created fund, part of special donation, and subscription account. Think about subscription received amounts, subscription written off. It has not given value clearly. It has given subscription receivable for previous year was not received during the current period, should be written off. This is a receivable amounts for previous year, and this is a received amount for previous year. Therefore, not received 800, that is value written off. Expense and expense, as well as membership fee account should be credit. And fixed deposit, think about rent expense. Expense should be separate restaurants and income statement. Not for profit making organization. You have to know how to prepare financial statement. Definitely available in the A-level paper.